Hello world, welcome to the last lab of the semester. We are using Vitis in this lab, mainly. We did have to use Vivado, but it was for the bitstream generation as well as the XSA file. From there, we had to download an XSA file from Real Digital's GitHub, and the rest of the lab was performed in Vitis. We're using C instead of Verilog in here, so that's why we had to get all the constraints of the board, pinouts and everything to import onto Vitis so that it knows how the inputs are going to work with the actual hardware. And for the most part, we're going to be working with the 7-segment display, and this display has 4 of these digits. What I had to do was to use this website, Wikichip, as a reference. For numbers, I mean, it's pretty much straightforward in hexadecimal, but when you have letters, it can get a little bit more complicated in terms of knowing which segment to display on or off, since we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G segments as well as the decimal point, but we're not really using the DP in here. We're actually using these buttons, these 4 as well as these. So basically from 0 to 5, so the 6 buttons, as well as the switches 0 to 3 right here. And there are 5 cases that we have to code. The first one was to display a string of SJSU, right? So the default, when nothing is pressed or turned on, will display E178. It just stands for E178, the Digital with FPGA Design course. So in order to change the default code is pretty straightforward. This is actually active low. So whatever letter that you want to display from here, you need to extract that hexadecimal value. And what I did was I used the Microsoft built-in calculator. For example, if I wanted a hex value of 50, I just click this and then type 50, and then it would display the other values in decimal, oct, and bin. It just stands for binary, and then I forgot what oct stands for, but there's 8. Yeah, 8, right? Oct is 8. I think so. Octopus 8, right? Yeah. So yeah, base 16, base 10, base 8, base 2. Yeah, should be like that. So, and yeah, so anyways, like I said, if you wanted like a letter, for example, in hex that's 50, you know, always refer to this table in this website. Put it in here, you get out this value, but remember it's active low, so we would have to invert all of these 1s into 0s and 0s into 1s. So I didn't want to do that because it's kind of tedious, so I just inverted these into this over here, for example. Click the convert, and then it would spit this out, and you would just choose the output hex value. From there, you just plug it into the portion of the code that you need to change. For example, for the first part, you would go to, I'm in a time constraint right now since I have some other stuff too, but let's just say, yeah, you would go to up here. You could make new definitions for these constants. Let's just change the default, and I put a comment so that I know what's what was there before, but it's not necessary. It's just for me to keep track. But anyway, so I just put in here the new hex value that I got from this website. You just keep on going, right? So this was for the first part. So let's try the demo. First part, so button 0. See, if you press and hold, it would just update the 4 digits into SJSU. The next one was basically the same, but I would have to display my name, the first 4 letters. So Bradley is gonna be Brad, right? So button 1, Brad, right? Works. And we could jump straight to like button 3 here. This button, which is adds up the current like positions for the 4 switches. So how it works, let's just say if I have all these off or low, it would just display 0, right? And this is in hex. So if I have the first switch on, it would just display 1. And this, we expect the output to be 3, right? Because it goes from least significant bit to high. So let's just keep on going. This should be 7. And the last one should be F, because F would be when all 4 switches are on, right? 0 to 15. So that's it for button 3. Now we can go to the next one, which is button 4. It should update the counter to, instead of 1, it's going to increment by 2, just up, right? Now there's a reset button where we would have to flip these 4 switches to high and just click one of these buttons, and it should reset to the default display. Same thing for button 5. This one it should turn on. Oh yeah, sorry, this thing is kind of glitching a bit. Okay, the display is definitely not working. Yep, this part I'm about to revise, but it was working before. It's just I'm not sure why it's not working now, but let's see if I could reset. Yeah, I'll definitely have to fix this. Anyways, I'm in a time crunch, and so the last one would be the rolling display. Instead of having a static like message, you would see the digits being refreshed at the next location. So it would look like it would roll. That's why it's called a rolling display, right? It's kind of like an animation. And here it would just print my my name, the first 4 letters, and it would just scroll in I guess you would call this what, from right to left. Yeah. Yeah, and I gotta fix button 5, but it was working before. Anyways, I really enjoy this lab because it's I actually had to spend time to figure out this part a little bit on my own time, since initially it was a little bit confusing to get the correct segments to display, since I said not every letters are displayed correctly. You would need to choose your letters carefully. Like, for example, even this website, some letters like D, for example, it's really hard to like see if the D is uppercase, because it would just look like a 0, right? So you would need to have a lowercase d. Same thing for some of the other letters, like for example R. I have to go with the lowercase r because the uppercase R would just look, I mean, you can't really draw it with just a 7 segment. So yeah, that part I had to take some time to figure out. But then this lab is going to be used for the final project. Like I said on my last video, how the final project, it incorporates everything that we learned and did so far in the lab experiments. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Mostly. That's the only project, or this one's the only project right now that I'm looking forward to. And my other two, they're a little bit harder, I would say. So this one is more interesting. Yeah, I'll see y'all in the final project then. Peace.